Today we're going to talk about the 5 B's of being a creative guru.
Illustrations by Pete.
Number 1, always be condescending. You want people to think that you had it so much harder than they have it now. And when you did it, it was so much harder. What that does is it immediately removes any kind of excuse they could have of why your advice isn't working. You don't have to actually address their actual problems and struggles that they're really going through because you had it worse. And then if they quit, it's an easy explanation that they just gave up. And you can tell your other followers, hey, look, that person just didn't have it. They couldn't tough it out. They couldn't handle it like me or like you. You're toughing it out. You're going to stay with me. Number 2, always be repeating. This one's easy because if anybody even dares question you, you can just say, listen, I wouldn't have to keep saying this if you would just do it. That way, when they do hear you repeat something, wait, you just said that last time. You just said that one last time. Yeah, but you're not doing it. That's why you're failing. So that's why I have to keep repeating this. Number 3, always be on the lookout for the most desperate people you can find. People that are just groveling. They just want that one thing. They need it. They have to have it. And you feed off of that. When you find those desperate people, it's so much easier to make them listen to you and have them just do what you say. And then when it fails, you can still blame them. They have no self-esteem. You blame them, it's their fault. Number 4, always be pointing out people who are successful that you maybe gave a little bit of advice to. Because inevitably, you'll find people that no matter how terrible your advice is, they push through it and they get past it and they become successful. And you want to make sure you capitalize on every opportunity that you see of that. So you can tell all the other people that are failing, it's not your fault. This person listened to you and they're succeeding. It must be you. You're the reason that this is failing. It just takes all the pressure off of you. Number 5, and this is probably the most important one I could ever tell you, always be brainwashing. If you can convince people that they should listen to you and only you, it's so much easier to manipulate them into giving you money. You'll be able to string them along for years and give them books and just little classes or whatever you want. They'll buy it because, after all, they think you're the best. But don't forget, when you're brainwashing people, you have to celebrate every little success, every little tiny thing that they actually do that's right. I know it's a pain and it's obnoxious and I have no idea how they still fall for it, but don't worry, just, oh, you did a little better. I'm happy about this thing here. It makes them feel good and then you tear them back down so they know they still need you. Now, if you've enjoyed that, and I can't see how you couldn't have enjoyed that, I have some more information down below. You just send me an email and I'll send you my free masterclass on the 5 W's to get anyone to listen to anything that you say. I also have a course of the 5 G's of how to increase your G's. You know what I'm saying? Now you stick with me and I will show you how to turn people into money. For real. Okay, let's get to today's drawing. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Listen, I know my favorites are the YouTube gurus, and they do all of those things that I just said, and that's what they all do. It's the same thing over and over, and I don't mind. I laugh at it. I just listen to them, and I feel bad for the people that actually fall for that nonsense. And look, I'm not saying I look for information. So when I first started YouTube and I bought a book from one of these people who had a book on how to do YouTube and how to be successful, and I just, all the advice that was in there was nonsense. It was garbage. It was just stories of other people succeeding, doing other things. They weren't even doing YouTube. So it's just, oh, this is how this person succeeded, and this is how this person succeeded. Yeah, but they were selling shoes, and I'm not selling shoes. I'm on YouTube. I want to learn how to do that. And I imagine the same thing. I've been involved in some sales in my life, and I sold sunrooms one time. I was just new in an area. We had just moved to the area. I needed a job. It was the only place that was hiring immediately. I walked in there, got the job immediately, went through a little bit of training, and started selling sunrooms. And you go, they send you to these places. They tell you to lie to everyone that you meet. No one is... Listen, if you ever have someone come and do some kind of home improvement, it's best with home improvements. They do this a lot. They tell you something stupid like, oh, we were around the corner at this person's house and we were going to put up some signs and give them some advertising money off their sunroom. But I'll tell you what, your location is so much better that I'm going to call my boss right now and tell him to bring that money over here and get you the discount if we can just put a sign up in your yard. And then maybe you'll get some more money off if you give us some referrals to some people that you know that may want that sunroom. And it's all the same garbage. It's from all the same companies. They all do the same thing. But I just remember here, and I'm like, I'm not going to lie to these people. I'll walk over here and just lie to them to convince them to buy something from me. And guess what? The people who lie, well, then they sell the stuff because people are a little gullible. They want to believe that other people are good and looking out for their best interests. So oh, really? You're going to help me? Okay. And that makes them like them a little bit, even though they didn't deduct any money. They already built that in when they were pitching to you. They have not reduced. That's the same amount of money they would have got anyway. And basically, you're just falling for it. So it's everywhere, all that stuff. It's the same thing. You basically have people who are trying. Yes, I'm not saying that these people don't believe that they're helping you. But how do you start your YouTube channel as a guru? I don't understand that. These people, they started as teaching other people how to do something. And sometimes it's how to do Instagram, not necessarily YouTube. And because they have a couple followers on Instagram, I know I can teach you that. And then once they build up on YouTube, they immediately switch over. Okay, we're going to help you on YouTube. I've got a book. I've got a calendar. I've got all this stuff for you to buy from me. And there's nothing, I don't want to sound hypocritical. Listen, everybody's got to make a living, and I entirely understand that. And people's information and time is really worth something. It really is. And I want to eat. I like when you guys buy stuff through my affiliate links that you'll see down below for everything in this video. See, that kind of stuff. I do understand. I want to eat tomorrow, so how do I do that? How do I put money back into my channel? I need to make money. That's how it works. And I understand that. But when they just string people along for years and years and years, and they're giving them money, oh, I bought this book, and I bought this book, and this course, and that catalog, and it drives me nuts. But it's really like that in any arena in life. Even if you work at a company, there's always trying to push you into a course or a program or something where, oh yeah, go do this and learn how to do this, learn how to do your job a little better. But the information they give you is basically the exact same information you had when you started your job. They maybe word it differently. It's not real. It's not a real thing. They're not real. They're just wasting time. And they're making money. Let's talk about one of these pearls of wisdom that you hear from other creative gurus, like artists and things like that. One of the biggest things I hear about is it's not about the art supply, it's about the skill of the artist. Okay, listen, I understand that you can, if you're a good artist, you can take a number 2 pencil that someone uses in school and draw something that looks beautiful with a lot of depth and just the proportions are accurate and the composition is beautiful. I understand that. But here's the thing. If you are a watercolorist and you try and use paper that is not watercolor paper, it's going to look like crap. You could be the best artist in the world, and it may look okay, but it'll never look great. It needs to be what it's for. You need to use things that are good. You can get cheap watercolor that is just absolute garbage, and you have to go over it 20, 30 times just to build up some color, and even then the pigment isn't strong enough to build up the color. It just looks like crap. And even though you draw something with a number 2 pencil, does not mean that it should have been drawn with a number 2 pencil, because if you would have taken the other values and built up the contrast, it would look so much better. So yes, in some way it is about the materials. Sometimes your materials are what make the art better. I know people don't like to hear that. They think it's garbage. I don't think it's garbage. From experience, I will tell you, when I use the wrong thing for the wrong job, I don't like the way it comes out. It's for that reason. I'm using the wrong thing. It doesn't have to be the most expensive of that thing. It just has to be the right thing. So I understand that what they're driving at when they say that, but let me tell you firsthand, the supplies do matter. Get the thing that's meant to do the thing. You know what I mean? Don't get the thing that's not meant to do the thing. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so now I'm going to give you some real advice that I think will help you. I think it's actually good advice. So I know sometimes it feels like you're not moving forward with your art. You feel like you're stagnant. You feel like you're just not doing anything. You're not moving as fast as you want. Here's what I want to tell you is to stop for just a second, and I want you to think about when you first started with that medium or with that subject. You had everywhere to grow. You started at a 0 on a scale of 1 to 10. Maybe you jumped up to a 5 in your first few pieces. But after a while, you get good. There's a weird thing that happens. It's called you gain skill. And then when you gain that skill, it's hard to move up higher than that skill when you look at it from a short term. So you may have to stop examining from piece to piece and start comparing year over year, or sometimes when you're really good as an artist, a couple of years at a time, you're looking ahead and saying, okay, I did this in 2022 and I'm going to do this in 2025 and see how well I do. And that's how you compare it after a while, because you just become so good. So if you don't feel like you're going forward, I want to offer another suggestion so that you don't get too frustrated, because the worst thing you could do is quit. You never want to quit. You want to just keep moving forward. You want to keep producing your artwork and hopefully growing. So if you are producing something, you keep saying, I don't see any improvement, this piece over next one, over the next one, or whatever. It takes a year before I see a slight improvement, or in my case, where my art just gets worse and worse. That's okay, don't worry about that, I handle that. So what you want to do is just find something else that you can slide in between your pieces. So if you're using watercolor, if you're a watercolor artist, how about switching over a little bit to some ink in between your watercolor pieces? Because if you start with a medium that you're not familiar with, again, you have that room to see the growth from piece to piece. It may encourage you enough to understand that you are improving in something, and then you go back to your watercolor and then you just keep moving with it, keep going. You are improving, I promise. It's just sometimes it's very hard to see just when you're just comparing the piece to the piece, the next one, you're already good. It's hard to do that. So I hope that was good advice. That's the kind of advice that I would say is good advice. I am not a guru. I will never be a guru. I don't desire the guru name. I do enjoy helping people, and eventually I will be selling a book, but it'll be of my artwork. It probably won't be an art teaching book. It might be. Who knows? I may be doing that, but it's not to say that you need to buy it from me because I'm the best. It's just something I'll do, and I'll let you know when that happens. And then you can come back to this video and leave me a nasty comment of tell me that I've turned into what I hate and all that other stuff that people like to say. I don't know what it is about. I think it's a idea of money. For some reason, people hear money and they think that money must be evil. So if someone was successful at something and they did make money, they must be doing it wrong. They must be evil. They must be manipulating people and that kind of stuff. Not everyone does. And I want to say from the beginning, there are people, there are these guru people who actually do help. They give you some advice that you may not have been thinking of, and they actually do help. The thing is, you have to look at it for what it is. It's not someone who is, you have to sit at their feet and learn about every little thing that they do. Just learn the one thing that they're doing that you want to learn, and then move on and say, hey, thank you very much for that information. I'm going to go find someone else who has something else I want to learn. You could still listen to them, be their friend, whatever, however that developed, but I'm just saying, don't put all your eggs in that one basket. And many times you'll find that all these people are friends anyway. They all talk to each other and say, okay, I'm going to do this, and you're going to do this, and we'll use these cattle people as money. And some people do that, so you have to just watch out for it. Just, if someone tells you this will help you, they're lying to you. I don't care what it is, they're lying. I know I just said you just keep going forward. Before I said you keep painting, whatever you're doing, and you will improve. I know I'm saying that, but that's a proven thing. I'm not talking about anything, information that I have. There's no special information, guru information that I have. It's just basically how it is. Practice makes perfect. They even have a saying that says that. It's not me. I didn't make that up. So anyway, now I've mentored people. I've done some things with herbalism and martial arts and art and things. Usually what I do is I say, this is what worked for me. This is what I've done and what's worked for me. I don't know if it's going to work for you. You can try it, but based on my skill set, this is how it worked out for me. And maybe you're just going to look at all the mistakes that I've made and not do those. That helps too. That's always a good thing. I've got plenty of those. So it's okay to be a hypocrite if you're quick with your wit. That's something I just made up. So you can't take that. That's mine. Don't let anybody see that. But anyway, you have to understand no one can promise you that something's going to happen. Basically what I'm saying, yes, if you do this, then it could work. But no one can promise that because they don't know what your skill set is. What's your skill set? How do you do it? Like, you can't say, oh, I'm an artist. I want more people to look at my art. So then they tell you, okay, so here's what you do. You got to go and talk in front of a large amount of people and gain their trust and be very charismatic. And what if that's not you? You can't do that. I think people need to connect with the individual. I always say that. So I always say get your face in front of your art so people can connect with you on a personal level. They may not like you, though. That's a part of it. They may not like you, but you'll find people who do and who will support you. But don't ever listen to anyone who just says, oh, do this and you will be successful. You will succeed. It will happen. Nobody can promise that for you. You've got to find your way based on your strengths. That's just the only way that it'll work. Okay, well, I've given you enough fake advice for one day. So thumbs up the video if you've gotten anything out of this at all, or you just want to tell me that I'm terrible and I don't know what I'm talking about. You can do that too. You get it down in the comments. That's where you do that. You berate me down there, but you thumbs up the video if you got any kind of value from it. And that's about it for me. I'll see you in the next one.